Hi there guys, so more action from the British Boxing Board of Control. They have now suspended Scott Fitzgerald's boxing licence after he was arrested for assault on possibly a female over the weekend. Now a spokesperson for the Lancashire Police had this to say: a 28-year-old man from Preston has been arrested on suspicion of assault following an incident at an address at Raylands Crescent in Preston. Now Scott Fitzgerald is currently British champion in the super welterweight division or junior middleweight division, and he had been mandated to fight Liverpudlian James Metcalf, who is the Commonwealth champion, in order to defend his British title. Obviously also there was a big rematch with Anthony Fowler waiting in the wings, but that seems unlikely at the moment because Scott Fitzgerald has now had his British boxing licence suspended, and that will be pending an investigation in May. So Scott Fitzgerald will have to wait a while before he gets his boxing licence back. And I said the same thing about Billy Joe Saunders, who also had his British licence suspended within the last week. They will both have to wait a long time before they can get back in the ring, because when all of this ends, when the coronavirus pandemic comes to a close, and hopefully that will be soon, but when it does, many fighters will be looking at dates. They will be onto their promoters, managers and everyone else trying to get dates, trying to pencil in when they can next fight. These both, Billy Joe Saunders and Scott Fitzgerald, will be trying to get their licence back. So in light of that, you would have to believe that maybe Scott Fitzgerald won't even fight this year, because we don't know when this coronavirus pandemic is going to come to an end, and we don't know when Scott Fitzgerald will get his boxing licence back. Now, Scott Fitzgerald was bailed until May, so that will be pending something coming in May for Scott Fitzgerald, and obviously his British boxing licence has now been suspended as well. And I don't think the British Boxing Board of Control will give him his licence back until he is proven guilty or not guilty. And obviously, if May comes and there cannot be an injunction in order to settle this with Scott Fitzgerald, then the British Boxing Board of Control will be unable to give him his licence back, I believe anyway. And I do not believe that the British Boxing Board of Control will be happy to licence Scott Fitzgerald until that is resolved. So ultimately, Scott Fitzgerald could be not fighting at all this year because of this. And it comes soon after Billy Joe Saunders' situation. Now obviously Billy Joe Saunders wasn't as bad because he made a video detailing how to be abusive to your partner. But it isn't as bad as what Scott Fitzgerald is being accused of, because obviously Billy Joe Saunders just outlined his kind of sick sense of humour in that video, whereas Scott Fitzgerald is alleged to have gone and done it. Now obviously we don't know too much about the case, there hasn't been too much released because there will be an investigation in May, and obviously that is the earliest date they believe they can resolve this. So ultimately Scott Fitzgerald has now had his British boxing licence suspended like Billy Joe Saunders. Now obviously this is not great for boxing at the moment because boxing is not happening. There are no fights going on, and the only publicity coming from the sport is all of this, and it's negative. So that's not great for the sport because many sponsors are a bit edgy about going into the sport of boxing anyway, and now probably they're going to be put off. So boxing is struggling anyway. It's going to struggle to get back on its feet because of the coronavirus. And this is not helping, but I would prefer to see it in a positive light. Look at it from this side. Look what boxing does for fighters. Look what it keeps them away from doing. Look at what some boxers are getting up to when boxing is not around to keep them occupied. So imagine how much good boxing does. Do you believe that Billy Joe Saunders would have made that video if he was preparing for Canelo? No, he wouldn't. He would have had his head down and he would be getting ready for the fight of his life. So it is clear to see that boxing does bring out the best in people and can set them on the straight and narrow. Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on this? Scott Fitzgerald has now had his British boxing licence suspended within the week that Billy Joe Saunders has as well. Guys, drop your thoughts in the comments below, click the thumbs up and subscribe if you are new. Thanks, guys.